If you want to really find the thinker of your thoughts, try to not think for a few seconds with me. Just sit in silence with no thoughts at all. Did you notice how thoughts still came up uncontrollably? Where were those thoughts coming from if you weren't the one thinking them? And if by some chance there were no thoughts at all? What did it feel like to watch a space where there were no thoughts? We live our lives believing that we are this thinker, this someone, this individual separate from life, fighting with it, making choices to manipulate the world around you to suit your needs. When you realize that there is no you inside here, behind your eyes, thinking thoughts, manipulating life from the outside, all of a sudden there's no more conflict. The only reason there's conflict, there's suffering, there's anxiety, is because there's two things. There's you and something else. There's you and life, me and these crows making noise, you over there and me over here. If there weren't two things, would there be any conflict? How could you fight against something else if it was literally just you? That's what enlightenment, non-duality, spirituality, even religion, I don't want to get into that, is. It's about realizing that you are one with life. Just like a wave appears separate at first glance, but upon closer examination, the wave is just the ocean in another form. You are this wave made up of the ocean of life, of this present moment. Every single thing that exists, like this, my chest, the microphone, the phone, you guys over there, all of it is made of the same energy, this form of like life energy. I don't want to get too into it because it doesn't really make much sense. But this energy, this life force, is the only thing we all share in common. And all of this life force is happening in this exact same moment. Even though you're watching this video at a different point in time, we are both aware of the same exact present moment always. All of the other life in different universes, etc., are experiencing this same exact present moment as we are. That shared commonality is the freedom from suffering. When you go to the root by asking, who am I, every time you have a thought, when you keep coming back to this practice of looking for someone, looking for this belief in being a thinker outside of life, the longer you spend in direct awareness of this someone, of this self, the more it's revealed to just be a part of this moment, a part of life, just like a wave is always a part of an ocean. To continue with the practice of finding the thinker, try right now to notice every thought as it comes up without responding to it. When you don't respond to the thoughts, and there's just this silence, in that silence, there's still the feeling of being someone witnessing life from the outside, right? It feels like you're over here watching this silence happen. But the longer you spend in the awareness of being that someone witnessing life, by asking who's thinking to every single thought, who's afraid, who's worried, and coming back to that root, that feeling of being someone, eventually it's seen to not really exist. I'm not denying the feeling of separation. You feel separate from life. That's a fact. We feel like we're outside of life, operating on it, making decisions to life, not with it. But is that feeling of separation happening to a separate someone? Is that feeling of separation, of being separate from life, happening to a separate someone watching life happen from outside? The belief in being a thinker and being someone is true. It's an experience, but it's not happening to someone outside of life. You know, I could ramble on and on about this, explaining how we're all connected, how we're all one with life for hours. But that doesn't mean it'll click for you. You have to really feel it and experience it yourself. That's why that practice of asking, who's thinking, who am I? Not responding to any thought with any more words, and every time coming right back to the same source, the source of being this I am, of being the one who thinks. When you do that practice more and more, thoughts grow quieter and quieter until all that's left is the feeling of being this witnesser, this observer outside of life. And when you continue to rest in the feeling of being this pure observer, you realize that this observer, once more, is not experiencing life from outside of it. The sentence, "the observer is the observed," is famous, right? A lot of us have heard this term, but it doesn't click because we're trying to interpret it using words. Okay, I hope you guys don't mind if I yell at this crow to leave real quick. Oh, it stopped. It's like it knew I was going to yell at it. Oh, crow! 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 Oh. All right, I got it. It flew away. Honestly, it's kind of nostalgic to hear these crow sounds. I don't know if you guys have watched J. Krishnamurti, but he makes a lot of videos very similar to this. He was the one who introduced me to the concept of asking or trying to look at things without labeling it. Like, look at this plant, all right? Look at this without calling it a plant, without saying it's green, without saying it's beautiful. Don't use any words to describe this plant. See it almost like a child would see it, as though it's the first thing you've ever seen. You have no reference point at all in the mind of what it is. The more you do this practice, the more real things begin to feel. Because all of a sudden, it's not like you're over here analyzing this plant outside here. It becomes way closer to you. You could try this with anything, with your hand, with a tree, the floor, your thoughts and emotions. Instead of saying this is anger, you just feel it. The more you do this, the closer you become with life. And that's like almost a sneak peek into enlightenment. It's like snapping your fingers and experiencing what enlightenment is like for a moment, before it's, of course, gone again, or the feeling feels like it's gone again. But that's basically what we're searching for. By finding the thinker as much as possible, by referring to every thought as, who am I, who's thinking, not responding to thought with more thought. Eventually, you don't even have to ask who's thinking. It's like an immediate response to search for the root of thought. And then you start to see everything like that, without any words, any labels, any filters, no separation, no gap between you and it. And then you just freed from suffering. I wish I had more advice on this to give you guys, because there's only so many words I can use, right? I'll leave you with this though. After this video ends, for the next few minutes, the only response you can give to any of your thoughts is to ask who. Just ask who. Every time you ask who, look for the root. Look for the one who's asking the question who. Look for the place the question of who is coming from. Try and find that who. The one who says, I am. The one who wants to find an answer. Just keep coming back to that feeling. Keep coming back. Do it for 10 minutes after this. And then as you go about your day, just try to remember randomly. Respond to your thought with who. That's what a mantra is. Just a reminder throughout your daily life to look inward, to try and find this thinker that's not separate from life. I can assure you that by doing this, eventually you will begin to unravel the feeling of being separate from life, and you will just connect with it once more. If you want to reach out to me and call me or read this practice on my website, go to zuckerabuddy.com. zuckerabuddy.com. It's in my bio. Even if you see this a year from now, that's like my living transmission at this point. Every time the practice gets more efficient, I find better ways to describe it, to simplify it more and more, which is what I'm doing here. I'll keep updating it there. I hope this has helped you somewhat. I know it feels strange, but it really does work. You know, I had horrible anxiety for years and I just did this practice and now it's like endless freedom, truly. All love, guys.